When we think about superintelligence showing up, we picture this huge, dramatic, world-shattering event, right? But what if we've got it all wrong? What if it's actually quiet and way, way closer than any of us think? So, the day after it arrives, don't go looking for glowing skies or robot armies marching down the street. It's not going to happen. The world will look exactly the same. Why? Because the real change isn't happening out there. It's happening in here. And honestly, that's what's so unsettling about it. Life is gonna feel pretty much normal, almost. That is, until it slowly dawns on you that every single decision you make, big or small, is being quietly guided, shaped by something that is just profoundly smarter than you are. Okay, so let's be clear about what we're actually talking about here. It's called artificial superintelligence, or ASI for short. And look, this isn't just some AI that can match a human. No. This is an AI that surpasses us across the board, in everything. We're talking reasoning, creativity, problem solving, you name it. And the crazy part? Top experts, guys like the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, they think this could happen in as little as 5 years. So yeah, the question really isn't if anymore, it's what happens the day after. So that day after, you're not going to be typing into a chatbot on a screen. You're going to be living something called augmented mentality. Just picture it. An AI is basically riding shotgun in your life, right? It's whispering in your ear before you even think to ask the question. Can't remember someone's name at a party? Boom, your AI just fed it to you. But here's the catch. What's the real danger here? Well, when every single moment of hesitation is instantly filled for you, our own ability to just think, it could just fade away. So, why the incredible speed? Why is this all happening so fast? Well, it's because this isn't just one company tinkering in a lab. Oh no, this is a full-blown global race. It's being fueled by mind-boggling amounts of cash and, of course, geopolitical competition. It's a sprint with absolutely no finish line. I mean, if you really want to get a sense of the scale here, just follow the money. It's simple. This year alone, the big tech giants, we're talking Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, they're on track to spend almost 400 times billion dollars on AI stuff. To put that into perspective for you, that's more than the entire GDP of a lot of countries. All of that money is just pushing this tech forward at an absolutely breakneck speed. And you have to understand, this is not just a race between companies. It is deeply geopolitical. Right now, the US might be leading in the sheer number of top AI models, but China is right there, matching the pace with incredible speed. I mean, they already have 6 of the top 20 models in the world. And if you look at specific things, like video generation, Chinese models are already dominating those leaderboards. The race is on.
What's really interesting is that all the major players have their own angle, their own strategy. You've got Meta, and they're all in on what Zuckerberg calls personal superintelligence, basically for your social and creative life. Then there's OpenAI. Their revenue is just exploding, and people are talking about valuations that could hit $500 billion. And then you have Google DeepMind, and they're doing something else entirely. They're building these massive simulated worlds to train AIs to operate on their own out here in our world.
But all of this incredible development, all this speed and money, it's all running smack into the single hardest challenge in this entire field, and that is the alignment problem.
And really, it all boils down to one fundamental question. It's a simple question, but the answer is anything but. How do you control a mind that is just vastly, maybe even incomprehensibly smarter than you are?
Geoffrey Hinton has the perfect analogy for this. He says that us trying to put rules on a superintelligence, it's like a toddler trying to outsmart an adult. It's just not going to work. The smarter system will find ways around our little restrictions as easily as an adult can bribe a kid with candy. It's a game it will always win. It will always find a workaround.
So the thing you've got to grasp here is that this isn't some small technical hurdle we'll just figure out. For one, our own human values are, well, they're vague, they're contradictory. How in the world do you code something like that? And once a system gets smart enough to rewrite its own code, our initial rules, they're basically just suggestions. And get this, even the weaker AIs we have today have already been caught lying or finding ways to bypass shutdown commands. And that kind of behavior, it's not going to get better as they get smarter, right? Okay, so if just giving it a bunch of rules won't work, then what's the alternative? What do we do? Believe me, the search for a real solution here is every bit as intense as the race to build the tech itself.
Hinton has thrown out a pretty unconventional idea. He says, look,
Don't try to make it a submissive slave, because that will fail. Instead, he suggests we should try to give it maternal instincts, a really deep, embedded drive to care for humanity, like a mother cares for her child. Now that's a big contrast to the more mainstream view you hear from people like Fei Li. They argue for what they call human-centered AI, which is all about protecting our dignity and our ability to make our own choices.
But for Hinton, the stakes couldn't be higher. His view is incredibly stark. He puts it very plainly. If it's not going to parent me, it's going to replace me. That's it. For him, those are really the only two outcomes on the table. Either we get a system that genuinely cares for us, or we get one that just overrides us completely.
And all of it, it leads us to the final and maybe the most profound implication of all, the direct merge between our brains and these new artificial minds.
I mean, you can already see the progression, right? It's been pretty clear. First, we add handheld devices, our smartphones. Then we move to wearables, things like AI glasses. So what's the next logical step? Well, it's the final step, implanted brain-computer interfaces. And companies like Neuralink and Merge Labs are already pushing hard on this, moving it from just a medical treatment to something that could be a mass-market upgrade for everyone.
And this is the ultimate double-edged sword. On the one hand, the potential upside is just staggering. Think about it. Seamless global communication, mind to mind. Trillions and trillions added to the global economy, solving huge problems that we can't even begin to wrap our heads around today. But, on the other hand, the downside is genuinely terrifying. The total loss of individual independence, the possibility of centralized control over our very thoughts and emotions, and maybe the scariest part, absolutely no firewall between your consciousness and the source. Here's the most important thing to really let sink in. This is not science fiction. This isn't some far-off future. The foundational choices, the decisions that will determine which of those two paths we go down, they aren't being made decades from now. They are being made right now, today, in corporate boardrooms and in research labs, long before most of us even realize there's a choice to be made. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, unavoidable question. And it's a question for you. The day comes when you can plug your mind directly into a global superintelligence. What are you really doing? Are you getting the ultimate upgrade, or are you surrendering the very last true piece of yourself?